Hello there. So this Thursday's assignment is an online simulation. So it should be pretty fun. And we're going to go to a website called PHET, and that's P-H-E-T, just as you can see right here in part of the URL. I'm going to show you how to get to the simulation, and then we're going to see what this worksheet wants us to do once we're there. So first, let's look at the simulation, which should have something to do with energy forms and changes in energy. All right, so here we go. So I Googled PHET, as you should. So Google PHET. When you Google PHET, you get the first option right here. It's PHET, free online physics. That's the one you want. And then you're going to click on that. And then you're going to click on Play with Simulations. All right, then you're going to get here, and you're going to click on Physics. Then you're going to move forward with the physics, and then you're going to click on this one in physics called Energy Forms and Changes. Click on it. Once you're there, here we go. When you click on this, it may ask you to update. If it says update, you say no, do not update. You'll update later. Let's see if I can show that. So here's what the simulation looks like, but I'm going to close it out and click on it again. And let's hit, so it pops up at the bottom here. You want to hit keep. Then you click on here, you say open. Let's see what it asks. It says run, you click run. And then it opened. If it asks you if you want to update Java, we can't do that. We have to have special people, the tech people, come and do that. So if it asks you to update it, just hit later. There's three options. You can say don't update, you can say update, or you can say update later. And just always click later. If you click later, it'll send you right here and you won't have any problem, and you'll be able to use the simulation just fine. And you can see there's two tabs. There's the intro tab, which we could play with, or the energy systems tab. And we'll explore both potentially, just depending on the worksheet. I'll leave it on the energy systems tab as we look at the worksheet. All right, the worksheet has a little intro, discusses here. So now that we know how to get there, it says getting familiar with the options. That's the title of this. It says, please experiment with the different source, generation, and output options. There are many combinations to play with, then complete the questions below. It says, which energy source's input can cause the turbine wooden wheel to spin and generate electrical energy? Which energy sources cause the solar panels to generate electrical energy? Turbines, solar panels. What happens to the amount of electrical energy that is generated when the faucet is high, there are no clouds, low heat, girl on a pedal? It sounds like what we need to do then, let's see here. It wants us to use the energy systems. So this intro doesn't look like you're going to be using it. Stick to this tab right here. It wants you to play with the faucet for the water one, and that's just you click on it. So if you want to see solar power, you click here. Now you have solar power, and you can adjust whether there's clouds or not. This is the wheel or the turbine. Let's make sure we're talking about the right thing here. So turbine, the wooden wheel. So the turbine is something that rotates, and that rotating movement helps to create the energy, right? So it wants you to play with the certain energy sources that'll get it to spin and generate electrical energy. So which energy sources, what are possible energy sources from the game that you can use to make the wooden wheel move? And there's a lot. Look, you can use water to make the turbine. This is the turbine, right? This wheel here. You can make the turbine move with water, with sun. Whatever this is, I'm not going to tell you. Figure it out. Or with this, oh my God, it's human power, right? So let's click right here. I'm just kind of curious. Oh, you can actually change the turbine, or you can change to solar panels. So you can play with all these things. And these are either different energies to create energy. So you click on these options to move between. And these are different energy sources that can power something, right? And the energy that it's powering, or the indication that whatever over here is creating power, is what's happening to the water here. So you're basically looking at, if the water gets heated, that means something over here, some energy source, and there's 4 total, made the water change its temperature because of electricity or passage of energy from over here all through the wheel and then to the water. What's interesting is that you can change this wheel to a solar panel, which I'm assuming a person riding a bike ain't going to do anything for the solar panel, but you can figure that out. But let's go back to the wheel, because that's what the original question asked about. Also, this says water, but you can also do light bulbs. And this ties more closely with the idea of electricity. So can this rider move and by spinning this turbine create electricity? Or can this right here, when you make it do what you got to do, can it make this thing move and create electricity, right? Or can it heat up the water, which is another way to indicate that energy is being created or used. All right, so let's go back to the worksheet. So it wants you to know, it wants you to play with, it wants you to say which 4 energy sources do you have that can make the wooden wheel spin? Which energy source caused the solar panel? So which energy source do you think? That's pretty obvious. Which energy output objects work with the turbine? So which of the 4? So question number 3 is which energy output objects work with the turbine? Let's look at the simulation. Energy outputs, right? So the energy outputs would be, let's see, works with the wheel. So these are inputs. All right, so energy inputs are the original source of energy, which would be any of these 4. These are energy inputs, these 4. Energy outputs represent the 2 different light bulbs and the water tank. And question 3 and 4 have to do with energy output. So that's either the water on the right or the light bulbs. What happens to the amount of electrical energy that is generated when so you're going to measure electrical energy when you're using the water. You're going to put it on faucet on high or low. This is for the solar power energy input. So if you're using solar power, how does it do with clouds or no clouds? If you're using low or high heat on the kettle as an energy input, remember these are all based on the input that you could choose out of the 4. So you can use the settings for the energy input, which are you select one of these 4, and then you kind of report on what happened with the electricity. So you need a light bulb, right? So you need to set the energy output to a light bulb. So you set this to a light bulb, and then you use the different inputs here, the different energy inputs here, and then you decide, was electricity flowing into this energy output? Whatever happens, you report it in the blank right here. Explain why the cyclist must be fed in order to continue to pedal. That's interesting. So you would set the bicyclist up, and I suppose there's a way for you to feed this person, or once you get the simulation going, I don't want to ruin the discovery for you, but you find out maybe they need to eat. Maybe you have to power them, right? All right, you can skip number 7. Don't worry about number 7 for now. Of course, you could Google this and then see what you come up with. See if you get a definition that makes sense to you. So Google this right here, and then try to define what law of conservation of energy means. Right here, this is a little more helpful. It shows you how they want you to set something up. So you're going to use the faucet, and based on this, you're going to try to fill in the blanks here to complete the statements about what you experienced. This one's based on setting up with the solar panel. This one's set up based on the using steam in the kettle, right? And it asks you, in this system, blank energy from the flames of the fire transfer energy. So you're trying to figure out what word can I write in these blanks to answer or to fill in and make this a complete paragraph statement. and it's the same for all. So you set these up as you see on the screen, and then you fill in these blanks based on what word you think completes it appropriately, and then you have yourself perfect paragraph statements of your understanding based on each of these four, remember, each of these four energy inputs. So you have this energy input for water, you have the energy input of the sun, you have the energy input of steam, and you have energy input of human power. Remember, so it's all four energy inputs, and you're really just explaining what you experienced with as far as the electricity created or the energy output, which is what did the effect of each of those forms of energy have on the output, or how did it affect the water or the bulb? And these all represent energy outputs. Remember, these are energy inputs, these are energy outputs. Good luck, try your best, and we'll talk about it on Monday.